Alright, so continue ko lang kaya kakatapos ko lang some record some conceptual framework, okay? So proceed na lang ko sa income taxation samtang may time ako before mag-busy sa office. So we'll proceed na sa another course or another subject, I mean, which is the income taxation. So hopefully guys kay total ara na yung book, so I'm expecting mabasa ko mo. Okay, so income taxation. So chapter 3, okay? So introduction to income taxation. So nang ligad at to yung introduction to ya sa taxation as a whole kag ang mga inherent powers. So iniya yan da sa introduction to income taxation, focus lang niya particularly sa aton nga income taxation. So at the end of the topic, so you are expected to first know the concept of gross income. Ano ba ang gross income in terms ng aton nga taxation? So the different types of taxpayers, okay? Kinanglan ko nyo gini, ma-master nyo ni ang different types of taxpayers kay tungod diri naton or diri amo ni ang basis later for example nagasolve na for a certain so kinanglan master nyo kung amo ni siya nga taxpayer, ano bala ang tax gagamiton siya or ano bala nga bracketing nga gamiton siya pagabot sa income taxation. So later mabalaan nyo na. So amat lang ta. The general rule in income taxation and the income tax situs rules. Okay? So what is the concept of income pagabot sa taxation? Okay? So why is income subject to tax? Okay? Munang reason. Income is regarded as the best measure of taxpayers' ability to pay, di ba? So hambalaton, dapat ang government ma-base lang gid mostly or always sa taxpayers' ability to pay. So kapag ang taxpayer is naga-earn income mostly, okay? So amo na ang pinaka number one nga measure o ang pinaka best measure sang ability to pay ni taxpayer pagabot sa iya nga income tax, okay? So it is an excellent object of taxation in the allocation of government costs. So what is the income or what is income, I mean, for taxation purposes? So the tax concept of income is simply referred to as gross income under the NIRC. Old pa niya. So hopefully, ang sa inyo nga book will focus na mostly sa train law. Pero more or less, ang concept nila pag-abot sa income is the same lang naman sa train kag sa old nga tax. Okay? Or sa old nga tax law. So what is a gross income? So almost the same lang sa accounting, may mga slight difference lang kaya hambal ko gani ng ligad, di ba ang taxation mostly sina is cash basis, okay, while ang sa income ang sa accounting ang aton income mostly naka-base sa accrual, so may mga slight na difference So gross income is broadly defined as any inflow of wealth to the taxpayer from whatever source, legal or illegal, take note of this that increases net worth. Okay, it includes income from employment, trade, business or exercise of profession, income from properties and other sources such as dealings in properties, mga rentals, and other regular or casual transactions. Okay, so ang pinaka na main lang sinisang gross income kapag first kung may inflow sa isa ka individual, okay, automatically kuan siya, it will be regarded as income, okay, unless donated, okay, while ang donation may other may other tax law for that, or I mean other tax regulations for that, okay. So gross income muna, okay, focus lang ta sa definition sang gross income. So next, the different types of income taxpayers. Okay? I suggest guys kitong gina-limit natin ang time. Gina-limit ko ang time kaya hindi ko man gusto nga gatutok lang kamo sa computer most of the time. Okay? Kung sa iban nga teachers bahala ya kamo. Pagkabot sa ako hindi ko man gusto nga gina-stress ang student sa pagtanaw lang sa computer. So I'm trying nga i-shorten, okay, i-summary almost tanan, but I'm expecting gani nga magbasa ka mo sang inyong nga own nga libro. Okay, wala masyado pressure study on your own pace. Okay, pero it does not mean nga kung ginambal ko nga study on your own pace is mapabaya ka mo. Okay? Study kung ano ang sa tingin nyo ang maka-absorb sang lecture most of the time. Okay? Dra ka mo focus. Ano ba lang ang mga strategies ang obro nyo? Dra ka mo focus. Hindi ko ya inang piyas nga tagaanta ka mo deadline. Okay? Hindi ko ya piyas ng mga teachers nga may deadline or ano. Ako lang is that focus on accounting. Okay? Mostly focus lang gid sa major subjects ano. Kay bawion galing tanan kapag pwede na ka face-to-face class. So, what are the different types of income taxpayers? Okay? Individuals. When I say individuals, okay, kung ano na siya, it refers to one person. Okay? Natural person. Okay? Natural person. Kaya di ba sa inyo basic accounting na bala nyo, mayroon kita ginatawag na natural person, mayroon kita ginatawag na juridical person, which is a corporate one. Okay? When you say of individual sa income tax, it refers to the natural one. Okay? So, under sa individual nga category, okay, so an income taxpayer must can be classified either a resident citizen, a non-resident citizen, okay, or alien. When you say of alien, mga foreigners, ano? When you say of citizen, mga Filipinos. Take note of this, And an alien can also be classified as either resident alien or a non-resident alien. Later, ipang discuss tayo isa-isa. Maski brief lang nga discussion for this. And ang non-resident alien can be subclassified into two pagid. Okay, it is either engaged siya kuno sa business or wala siya na engage into business. Okay, so anong difference nila later? Wala nyo. And taxable estates and trusts. Hindi tayo pag-itakal masyado. Okay, may other topic for this. Okay, itagan talaga mo overview later. Overview kung ano niya. Okay? And mamal ko kagina, kung may natural person which refers to individuals, may ara kita ginatawag nga juridical person which refers to corporations. Okay? Corporations na bilong na di ang partnership. Okay? Kaya pag abot sa law, wala man kita ginatawag nga partnership law but corporate law lang. So under sa corporation is inang mga partnership. Okay? So under the corporations, it can be classified as to domestic corporation or foreign corporation. And a foreign corporation can be also classified as resident foreign or non-resident. So don't be confused kung madamo piyes man na bala kung sige-sige mo answer or sige-sige mo basa, kaya na ma-master mo ang certain nga topic. So yan da. I suggest i-familiarize nyo lang gid. Okay? Muna ang aton nga ang term na mga ginagamit permi. I-familiarize in yourself for the terms. No need nga memorize. So individual income taxpayers under the citizen, which means okay, what is a citizen? Under the Philippine Constitution, citizens are number 1, those who are citizens of the Philippines at the time of adoption of the Constitution on February 2, 1987. Those whose fathers or mothers are citizens of the Philippines. Those born before January 17, 1973 of Filipino mothers who elected Filipino citizenship upon reaching the age of maturity. Those who are naturalized in accordance with the law. Okay? Yung mga naturalized, kung familiar ka mo sila ng mga foreigner nga naging naturalized na or mga mga naturalized nga mga Filipino. Okay? Paano ang mga ang mga dual citizen mga dual citizen? If you are both a Filipino citizen and at the same time a foreign citizen, kung ari ka sa Philippines, of course, you will considered as a Filipino citizen, If ara kaya sagwa, considered ka man niya as dito nga citizen, okay? So what are the different classifications? Okay, first, resident citizen. Okay. Ang resident citizen, Filipino siya nga nag-star sa Pilipinas. Muna nakasimple. Okay? Filipino siya, and at the same time, nag-star siya sa Philippines. While ang non-resident citizen, Filipino siya, okay? Pero wala siya nag-star sa Philippines. For example, sino nila? Ang OFWs. Okay? Muna ng definition niya. Okay? Resident citizen, Filipino, nag-star sa Pilipinas. Ang non-resident non-resident citizen, Filipino siya, pero wala siya nag-star sa Philippines. Okay? Next, alien. Okay? Classification of aliens. When we say of resident aliens, okay, take note ang aliens is foreigner. Okay? A resident alien, okay, an individual who is aride or ga-star sa Philippines but is not a citizen thereof. Okay? Such as, may mga example ko din. An alien who lives in the Philippines without definite intentions as to his stay. Okay? So later, may already number of days kung paano ko ma-classify as resident or non-resident. Okay? One who comes to the Philippines for a definite purpose when it is nature would require an extended stay and to that end makes his home temporarily in the Philippines. Okay? Although it may be his intention at all times to return to his domicile abroad. For example, sino yung mga kano ba lang nag-asawa sa Filipino? Okay? Nga wala na nagbalik sa ila lugar. Okay? Ari sila sa Philippines, nag-star sila but hindi sila Filipino citizen. Okay? Take note of this. An alien or a foreigner, okay, cannot own land or cannot own real properties pag-abot sa Philippines. Okay, take note of that. So another example, an alien who has acquired residence in the Philippines retains his status as such until he abandons the same or actually departs from the Philippines. So continuation, kung may resident alien, may tinatawag na non-resident alien. So an individual who is not residing in the Philippines and at the same time hindi man siya citizen. Okay, a foreigner nga, for example, nag-visit lang, okay, for 15 days na nagpuli man, mga non-resident alien na sila. Okay? So, hambal ko, duha ni sila, maklasify into two. First, a non-resident aliens engage in business. Okay, ano yung mga naka-engage in business? Aliens who stayed in the Philippines for an aggregate period of more than 180 days during the year. Okay? Or, mga non-resident aliens not engaged in business, ang mga aliens who come to the Philippines for a definite purpose which in its nature may be promptly accomplished. Okay? Or aliens who shall come to the Philippines and stay therein for aggregate period of not more than 180 days. So take note of this at 180 days na. Kung sa alien, 183 days pag sa citizen. Okay? So later, discuss that. Estate and trust. Hindi ko napagdalo mo niya. So when we say of estate, okay, it refers to the properties, rights, and obligations of the deceased, napatay na nga person, not extinguished by his death. What does it mean? Okay, for example, si napatay, okay, mayara siya damo-damo ng hacienda. Okay, so ang mga assets nito, okay, kung mapatay siya, nakangalan mo na Japan, pero ara na sa iya nga estate. Okay? So estates under judicial, when you say judicial, ginsettle siya or judicial settlement, ginsettle siya within the rules of court, okay? Within the rules of court, okay? Okay, so estate, okay, refers to the okay. So estate under judicial settlement, tabal ko, ginsettle siya under the rules of court, ano? So treated as individual. While estate under extrajudicial settlement, extrajudicial meaning outside of court. Okay, wala again settle wala siya again settled within the court of laws. Okay, so the income of the properties is considered as taxable sa ilang mga years sa mga tagapagmana. Okay? What is a trust naman? Okay? It's an arrangement whereby one person transfer property to another person which will be held under the management of a third party. Ang trust siya, buhay pa din tagiya. Okay? May another topic for this. If irrevocable, considered as individual. Kapag revocable, Hindi siya ma-considered as individual. When you say irrevocable, hindi mo ma-transfer ang rights nga ginhatag sang trust sa isa ka beneficiary. Kapag revocable, pwede. Okay? When you say pwede siya ma-transfer into another beneficiary. Okay? So the general classification of rule for individual. Intention, number 1. Okay? So if the intention of the taxpayer regarding the nature of his stay within or outside the Philippines shall determine his appropriate residency classification. What does it mean? For example, an alien is normally non-resident. Tama? Okay, kapag foreigner kaya, general classification mo non-resident. Okay? An alien who come to the Philippines with a tourist visa will still be considered as non-resident alien. Okay? While a citizen, okay, normally a resident. Kapag citizen ka, automatic resident ka. Or in general, I mean. Okay? But a citizen who would go abroad under a tourist visa would still be considered as resident citizen. Okay? Yung mga tourist visa, mga malipot lang man yung mga stay dito. No? An alien who come to the Philippines with an immigration niya, masilo siya diya, would be reclassified as resident alien upon his arrival, while ang citizen who go abroad with a 2-year working visa would be reclassified as a non-resident citizen upon his departure, mga OFWs. Okay? Another classification rule, okay, for individual is the length of stay. Okay? In default, kung wala sa other nga mga details, okay, the length of stay of the taxpayer is considered, okay, if citizens staying abroad for a period of at least 183 days are considered non-resident. An alien who stayed in the Philippines for more than a year, one year as of the end of taxable year, are considered resident. Aliens who are staying in the Philippines for not more than 1 year but more than 180 are deemed non-resident aliens engaged in business, while an aliens who stayed in the Philippines for not more than 180 days are considered non-resident not engaged in trade or business. Okay? So, ang mga consideration nga, sa mga consideration nga kinanglan nato tanawon, especially kung gabasa kita sang problems. May yate ko din nga na example. Illustration. Okay? Luis Mariano Arismendi, a Mexican actor, was contracted by a Philippine television company to do a project in the Philippines. He arrived in the country for February 29 and returned to Mexico 3 weeks later upon completion of the project. So may may ara siya sang purpose. Okay, may intended stay, may intended siya ding umrahon sa Philippines. So paano ta siya i-classify? Okay, so si Luis Mario shall be classified as non-resident alien not engaged in trade in business. Okay, why? His stay is for a definite purpose which in its nature will be accomplished immediately. Okay, another example. Okay, si Jibril or Hibril, a Libyan national, arrived in the country on November 4, 2019. Hibril stayed in the Philippines since then without working visa or work permit. Okay, anong classification niya? For the year 2019, kinagabot siya 2019, would be considered as non-resident alien not engaged in business because he stayed in the Philippines for less than 180 days, okay, from November to December 31. Okay, if he is still within the Philippines until December 31, 2020, next year na, he will qualify as a resident alien for 2020. So depende kung how long imo stay sa isa ka year. Okay? Kaya ini siya wala siya purpose, di ba? Wala mo siya visa, wala mo siya work permit, so wala purpose. So ma-base ka sa number of days. Another. So without any definite intention as to the nature of his stay, si Juan Masipag, a Filipino citizen, left the Philippines and stayed abroad from March 15, 2019. Nagbalik siya April 1. Okay? Anong classification niya? Analysis. For the year 2019, Juan is a non-resident citizen. Ngaman, absent siya for more than 183 days. Okay? Pero, pag abot niya sa 2020, kitungod less than 183 days nga absent sa Philippines, mabalik na siya as resident citizen. Okay? Ano siya mag-classify. So, i-check nyo na ang purpose. Kung wala purpose, ang length of stay. Okay? Next, corporate income taxpayers. Domestic corporation. Anong domestic corporation? Is a corporation that is organized in accordance with the Philippine laws or the Philippine Corporation Code or the Corporation Code of the Philippines. Okay? While ang foreign, of course, corporation nga gin-establish or gin-organize under sa foreign law. Okay? What is a resident foreign? A foreign corporation which operates and conducts business in the Philippines through a permanent establishment. Mayroon sila di building sa Philippines, although gin-create siya nga business outside or based sa corporation laws ng ibang nga country, pero mayroon sila di permanent nga establishment sa Philippines. Okay? While ang non-resident, a foreign corporation which does not operate or conduct business in the Philippines. Okay? So, muna mga importante guys ang imbutan ko di is ang pinaka-common nga classification sa mga income taxpayers.
State.
Okay, so naamo na mga basic considerations pag-abot sa aton classification of taxpayers. So, I suggest masteran nyo gid ni. Okay? Kay magamit nyo siya until mag-business tax, okay? Or sa transfer tax magamit nyo gid ni. Okay? So, income situs rules. Ano ganing situs? Ang place of taxation. Okay? Types of income. Sa interest income, so diin siya on the debtor's residence. Okay? Pag royalties, where the intangible is employed. Rent income, location of the property. Service income, place where the service is rendered. Okay? So, namitanin ko yung mga computation. So, daw medyo mabudlay nga ibutang sa PowerPoint. So, kailangan pangitaan ko way nga makakuan ko sang whiteboard, maka problem solving kita pag-abot sa tax. Pag sa intermediate accounting man. So, there are other income status rules like the gain on sale of properties, kung nagbaligya ka sa mga properties. Okay? Kapag personal, okay? Presumed earned within the Philippines. Other personal, earned in the place where the property is sold. Okay? Now, what's the difference between personal property and a real property? Always na nababatian. When we say of personal property, okay? Or ang pinaka difference between a personal property kag ang real property is that a real property cannot be moved. Hindi mo mahulag ang real property, while ang personal property, mahulag mo siya. What does it mean? Real property, example niya duta, okay, ang lot. Masaylo mo ang lot or mahakwat mo ang lot into another place? Hindi. Di ba? Building, matransfer mo ang building from this place to another place? Hindi man. So considered as real property. While ang personal property, like ang salakyan, okay, a car, can be considered as personal property. Ngaman, pwede mo siya ma-move from one place to another place. Ang mga assets or ang mga other assets nga, pwede mo ma-move. Pwede na siya ma-considered as personal property. Okay? So, dividend income. Under the domestic corporation, presumed earned within. Pag foreign corporation, or kapag resident foreign, depends on the predominance test. May computation man for predominance test. Non-resident foreign, earned abroad. Okay? While sa merchandising income, earned where the property is sold. While the manufacturing income, earned where the goods is manufactured. Okay, so, na siya for the introduction ng income tax. So, I hope you focus on the classification sa mga income taxpayers. Kaya magamit yung later on pag-abot sa mga next chapters o mga succeeding chapters. Okay, so, thank you.